President Tinubu decries violence in Rivers, directs police to provide security to local government offices. Finance and Agriculture Ministers address crop processing zones, allocate resources to commence special agro-processing zones before December this year.
The 21st century is an era of technological advancement. Thus, the world is changing at an extraordinary speed.
National Council on Education highlights embedding digital and entrepreneurial skills into national curriculum. Hello and welcome to the News Desk at 6 on Nta News24. We are live in Abuja. I am Nta Daniels. President Bola Tinubu has called on Governor Siminalayi Fubara, political leaders and their supporters in Rivers State to exercise restraint and uphold the rule of law. In response to recent tensions following Saturday's local government council election, the president expressed deep concern over reports of arson and explosions in the state. He urged all political actors to de-escalate the situation and discourage their supporters from engaging in violence or destructive actions. President Tinubu, in a release by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, directs the police to restore and maintain peace, law and order immediately, while instructing law enforcement agencies to bring the situation under control. He emphasized the need to ensure the security of public institutions. President Tinubu said government facilities built with public funds must be safeguarded from vandalism. He stressed that self-help has no place in a democratic system, especially after 25 years of continuous democracy. According to President Tinubu, the judiciary can settle all political disputes, and the outcome of this election should be no exception. Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umar Eno, is tasking all newly elected council chairmen and vice chairmen to stay in their localities, deliver on their mandates, and avoid distractions. This was during the swearing-in ceremony of Chairman Unuyo. Kelvin Samuel reports.
Swearing in the newly elected council chairmen and their deputies, Governor noted that no arm of government can completely operate in isolation, hence the need for council leaders to synergize with the state government to ensure the provision of democratic dividends at the grassroots. He charges them that elections are over, therefore party affiliation should be kept aside to serve the interest of the people.
Receive your funds directly. Remember, we have shared responsibilities, and those shared responsibilities must be carefully thought out. How our teachers will be paid across board, how their allowances will be paid, how their gratuities will be paid. This administration is big on welfare.
Some of the chairmen, while appreciating the governor for his support, assured that the tempo of development will be sustained and even improved upon.
But they know my capacity because I've been with them. I know what they really need as a local government.
I will make sure that whatever the governor, His Excellency Governor Moino, is doing in the state, in his Arise agenda, I'll do the same to my people.
I expect inclusiveness. Everybody will be carried along.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, won 30 out of the 31 local government areas, while APC won in the Senudem local government area. From the government house, Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, Nta News.
Governor Hyacinth Alia wants newly elected local government council chairman in Benue State to de-emphasize personal gains but uphold the diligence and selflessness in the discharge of their duties. Correspondent Elias Itiav reports that this was at the swearing-in ceremony of the chairman in Makadi.
The swearing-in of the 23 local government council chairmen follows their victory in the October 5th council polls held across the state. Governor Hyacinth earlier, while congratulating the chairman and the All Progressives Congress for their emphatic victory at the polls, urged them to uphold diligence and accountability in the discharge of their duties. The governor, who encouraged them to key into the developmental strides of his administration, also called on them to turn down personal gains but engage in meaningful dialogue with all stakeholders at the grassroots level.
And this is a responsibility that demands integrity, foresight, and a steadfast dedication to the principles of accountability, transparency, fairness, and honesty in all your conductions.
Chairman Vandekia Local Government Council Dennis Guda, on behalf of his counterparts, expressed gratitude for the opportunity and pledged to replicate the governor's footsteps in making life meaningful at the third chair of government.
We will follow the footsteps in making sure that we will work in line with the 7-point agenda of your government.
With the kind of mass jubilation that heralded our victory, I am sure we cannot fail.
Councillors are to be sworn in by their chairmen subsequently in the various local government areas. In Makudi, Elias, Etiaf, Nta News.
Frivolous appeals, alleged intimidation of judges and judgments delivered on grounds of technicalities are some of the challenges impeding the war against corruption in Nigeria. President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, stated this at the 6th EFCC and the National Judicial Institute Capacity Building Workshop for Judicial Officers. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jibrila reports.
Exchange of ideas between the two reliable partners, primarily to ensure the prevention of corruption and administration of justice to build public trust in governance.
The last count, the Commission is unable to conduct investigation in at least 10 states of the Federation. This is in spite of the clear pronouncement by appellate courts that law enforcement agencies cannot be restrained in carrying out their statutory duties.
Today, corruption has permeated all levels of the Nigerian society. We often read in the media, starting from school children and students in tertiary institutions, about examination malpractices and forging of certificates, sometimes aided by parents and guardians.
Fighting corruption requires political will, and the three arms of government promise to create strong fiscal institutions that will promote integrity and accountability for economic growth.
The present administration also sought to ease the pressure on vulnerable populations, not to embrace corrupt practices through strategic investment of the covert process of corruption in critical social programs. The two notable ones are the students' loan fund being managed by NELCO and the consumer credit scheme under the supervision of the Nigerian Credit Corporation Credit Corp. With easy access to loans, we are confident that most of our indigent students will have no need to embrace cybercrime, while the credit scheme offers workers easy access to money to fund their needs in spite of the harsh economic realities.
Combating these crimes requires enhanced stakeholder participation and result-oriented collaboration. Effective integration between stakeholders will strengthen prevention efforts, enhance detection capabilities, and improve the overall effectiveness of our judicial system.
As a nation, it's high time for the establishment of a centralized database accessible to all law enforcement agencies, which can consolidate information regarding financial transactions, suspicious activities, and criminal records.
We must recognize our shared responsibility in the anti-graft war
fight against corruption requires not only robust legislation, but also a judiciary that is well equipped with the knowledge and skills necessary to navigate the complexities of such cases.
And at the end of the three-day engagement, issues of misuse of security votes and other collective actions in winning the war against economic and financial crimes in Nigeria is expected to be addressed. In Abuja, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, federal government is reviewing laws and policy to adopt a reformative approach towards addressing the root causes of criminal behavior in children. The Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary, Minister of Justice, Beatrice J.D. Abba, stated this at a two-day stakeholders forum in Abuja on ending violence against children in Nigeria. Chukunonso Wabweze reports.
A study by the National Population Commission indicates that about 6 in 10 children experience some forms of violence in Nigeria. This Stakeholders Forum on Ending Violence Against Children in Nigeria, convened by the Federal Ministry of Justice in partnership with UNICEF, therefore is to galvanize cooperation, support and institutional resources with a view to ending the scourge.
The Federal Ministry of Justice has continued to partner with UNICEF as well as other donor agencies, as well as respective heads of court, with a view to developing the capacity of judges and magistrates on the implementation and enforcement of the Child Rights Act, especially in the area of effective use of family court rules and procedures.
So as you prepare for the upcoming meeting, there will be a national preparatory meeting that will convene the various key line ministries. As you prepare for that, we hope your reflection on the progress made, the challenges you encountered in the justice area, and your commitments that you're charting forward will inform the discussion.
Ending violence against children, participants agree, requires a multifaceted approach with concerted and intentional efforts of all stakeholders, institutions and development partners, particularly those saddled with developing and implementing government policies.
We must advocate for comprehensive legal framework that not only protect children, but also ensure that these laws are effectively implemented.
I will continue to speak to my other traditional rulers so we can take child protection very, very, very serious.
We must come together as stakeholders, governments, NGOs, community leaders, and citizens to create a safe space for our children.
The two-day meeting, attended by participants from various states across the country, is preparatory to the Global Ministerial Conference on Ending Violence Against Children coming up in Colombia in November, where Nigeria is expected to make presentations on its commitment at tackling the menace. Chukunonso Wabweze, NTA News.
Meanwhile, cybercrime is spreading fast and schools are not also spared. To stem the tide, the Nigerian Police National Cyber Center is engaging students of secondary schools on the dangers. Francis Fom reports that the NPF Cybercrime Center takes the campaign against cybercrime to the Power Model Secondary School, Abuja.
This mentorship school we posted, they recruited teenagers. You know, they're teaching them how to hack, how to go into romance scam, how to go into extortion, and how to distribute malwares and a whole lot of things. And apart from, you know, the areas of the cybercrime, we still have to teach them tips on how to stay safe online.
And we'll incorporate what we have been taught and ensure to have a free cyber environment.
Yahoo is an illegal activity, it's a crime and we should not engage in it.
The teaching and everything was a good one to stop and prevent teenagers from thinking of entering into cybercrime.
The theme for this year's Cybersecurity Week is Secure Our World. Still on to the news desk at 6 on Nta News24. We take a breather now. More reports in a moment.
the dreams that our founding fathers envisaged are still work in progress. Every day, we put our hands on the plow, determined to do a better job of it. While it is tempting to focus on what has been left undone and where we have stumbled as a nation, we must never lose sight of how far we have come in forging and holding our country together.
Welcome back. Digital and entrepreneurial skills have become a focal point in recent discussions on the future of education in Nigeria. At the 68th National Council on Education meeting held in Abuja, like minds highlighted the urgency of embedding these vital tools into the national curriculum. Zenred Digmam reports on the gathering that focuses on digital and entrepreneurship integration.
The digital literacy gap in Nigeria has prompted a series of high-level meetings by the National Council on Education. As education evolves beyond traditional classrooms, interested individuals and groups acknowledge that the shift to digital platforms and technological innovation has become a pressing national priority. With the Council's latest meeting centered around the theme, Innovation, Digital Technology and Entrepreneurship, Tools for Education and National Development in the 21st Century, Dr. Nasir Sani Gwavzo, Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Education, emphasized that the government is fully committed to supporting this transformation. He reassures participants that the necessary resources have been allocated to facilitate the integration of digital and entrepreneurial skills into the educational system.
The 21st century is an era of technological advancement. Thus, the world is changing at an extraordinary speed, driven by innovation. The skills-based curriculum diverges away from content acquisition and rote learning to focus on the skills and abilities that will best serve the generation of young minds.
This strategic initiative aims to equip students with self-reliance and adaptability, enabling them to contribute meaningfully to national development. The Council is confident that this forward-thinking approach will reshape Nigeria's education sector, preparing students for the demands of the global digital economy. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, Nta News.
Educationists want Nigeria to prioritize and attract the best brains to the teaching profession to equip Nigerians for global competitiveness. They are emphatic that it is the only way to harness education as the most powerful tool for development. Lydia Sampson reports.
For the Minister of Education, focusing on placing value on the teaching profession is a reminder to recognize teachers and what they sacrifice and bequeath to humanity. He says the Ministry of Education is resolved to implement policies to better the teaching profession as stipulated.
Our responsibility to teachers is very clear. It's clearly stated in our policy of DOTS. The T part of the DOTS is the teachers' support and development. We made quite a number of policies on ground. Some have been implemented, some have not been implemented, and maybe over time too, part of lack of political will. Now, this government is bringing the two on board. Our president has stated very clearly his commitment to education.
Professor Tahir says government is continuously engaging with global key players to rebrand the teaching profession. Other guests on Good Morning Nigeria who joined the conversation believe though across the country there is a renewed appreciation for teachers, more still needs to be done, especially in clear requirements for enrollment into the colleges of education and other related institutions.
That the greatest infrastructure for our educational system are teachers themselves. For many of us who are in the field are trying to implement education reform, we keep running up against a major challenge. And that challenge is that there is a gulf between the new aspirations for education and the capacity of existing teachers to deliver those aspirations.
Because teaching is not paying enough, because government is not paying enough attention to education, quality people and people with knowledge are not interested into going into the profession. Education is being, teachers are being demarketed by the quality of people going into teaching. We must get that right, that the best people should be the ones who go into teaching. And of course, they should earn the best. Consider, if you pay teacher, the salary you pay people who work in the central bank, or those who work in the NNPC, or those who are that, everyone would want to go and be a teacher.
To start from that point, it is very, very apt. Very apt in the sense that just like many other of the discussants here have said, teachers have not been given their due place in society.
They are unanimous that teachers play pivotal roles in battling all professions. Therefore, investing in teacher development is sacrosanct. The girls want better enumeration for teachers in appreciation of their selflessness in serving in both rural and urban areas of the country. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, Nta News.
The federal government is allocating resources to ensure the commencement of the special agro-processing zones before December this year. Musa Baba Aleyu reports.
The special agro-industrial processing zones came into being in 2019 like a newborn baby. But 7 years later, it is yet to take its first step. Federal government, African Development Bank and Islamic Development Bank, alongside International Fund for Agricultural Development, are the financial of the project. This stakeholders meeting was organized under the supervision of the African Development Bank.
Is that we need to force, and I use the word force, a transition from our low-income, low-equilibrium economy to at least a middle-income economy.
We want to accelerate, but this acceleration must be enabled in compliance with financial agreements, with policies and procedure. This is really important.
Ministers of Agriculture and Food Security and that of Finance spoke on the factors responsible for the delayed takeoff and way out.
We will ensure they are fully equipped to execute their responsibilities as outlined in the project appraisal document and to deliver the accelerated implementation plan in line with the outcomes of today's discussions.
In which we can re-emphasize and recommit our determination to make the SAPZ model that is spread throughout the states of Nigeria.
7 states are currently participating in the first phase of the project. Musa Baba Aliyu, Nta News.
Chairman Board of Trustees, Arewa consultative firm Bashirul Dawhatu led a delegation to Borno State, where they conveyed heartfelt condolences to Governor Babagana Zulum, the Sheikh of Borno, and the people of the state following the devastating flood that resulted in loss of life and billions of naira in property damage. Pauline Kujevana has details.
Established in 2000, the Arewa Consultative Forum promotes unity and strengthens bonds within northern Nigeria, advocating for an indivisible nation. Chairman Board of Trustees of the Forum, Bashir Delhatu, who led other members to Maiduguri for a sympathy visit on the government, traditional council and people of Borno, equally extended condolences to those who lost loved ones in the floods, urging them to take solace in God.
What affects Borno, Maiduguri, affects everybody in this country, but particularly affects us in the northern region. So it's only right that the people of Borno understand that in this time of disaster and need, they are not alone.
As a result of this banditry and terrorism, we have a lot of children who have vacated their schools in order to preserve their lives. Now, we are going to take further steps towards ensuring that we make veritable contributions into this philosophy.
He praised Governor Zulum and the Shehu of Borno for their warm reception and the governor's swift response to the disaster, providing timely relief and support to those in need. The board chairman pledged the forum's solidarity and sustained support to people of Borno in this their trying moment. Thereafter, the forum went around some of the flood-affected areas, including Mohammed Lawan College of Agriculture, to assess the extent of the flooding's impact. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
And that concludes the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. Thank you for watching. I am Nta Daniels.